My name is Tim Hadley. I'm going to talk a little bit about, my title is called One Red Paperclip, and then the subtitle is called The Lost Art of Bartering. A little bit about me. I'll talk a little bit about me, but if you want to go to this Google shortener link, it's goo.gl/BDQBAF. That will take you to, I made a Google site, and then I have my Google presentation. This presentation's on it, as well as some other resources that you're welcome to use. I'm not really endorsed by any person or anything. I'm just a school teacher who's here that did a lesson that I thought was fun, and thought I would share about it, and hopefully you'll find the same. I also found it was extremely engaging, which I think is difficult. So this lesson that I'm about to present could really be housed under economics. That's where I taught it, but you could also implement it into anything, really. And the standards that I'm going to show you actually come from the elementary level. So you could do it at the K2 level all the way up to, I did it with juniors and seniors, and really found that I haven't done it with a younger group, but I think it definitely could be done and adapted for that level as well. And the story is fun, and the idea is there as well. Anybody have trouble getting to this, or may not make it? Awesome. I also tweeted it out. If you follow Twitter, my handle is @MrHadleyHistory. So you can go there. A little bit about me: I teach high school social studies at Econ. It's in Southeast Iowa. Econ of Packwood, maybe more formally known as small school, about 700 students, K-12. So I talked to somebody from, I think, West Des Moines yesterday. It was like, oh, we have about 700 students. So that's awesome. It's like, no, that's one grade. So that's K-12 for us, or pre-K-12, I suppose, if you throw them in as well. But this was me as Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer last year for Halloween. I don't know. You're supposed to do a famous movie star, and I didn't really. I get that I look like Brad Pitt a lot, but I didn't know if people would get that. So a stretch thing. I don't know. All right. Well, if I take my shirt off, it's more Matthew McConaughey. So there's just no beaches in Southeast Iowa, so I can't run down them. It's awkward. I coach. I don't know why I looked so angry there. I'm really not an angry person by nature. I'm not sure if Derek did something. He was our heavyweight. I'm not sure if he did something, but I coach football and wrestling. I also do some announcing on the radio for some other sports. You know, small school. Anybody here? Small school. You wear. I mean, they talk about wearing hats. It's like, no, it's like you wear full gear, I think, rather than just hats. Just all kinds of different things that you end up doing. I'm also a dad. That's Isaiah. He just turned 4, and that's Saya. She just turned 8. She's a 3rd grader at our school, and he goes to. We actually have a community daycare at our school, which is really awesome. So I get to take. They both get to go to school with Dad every day, and they're amazing. Also been married for 13 years. There's at least one stud in that picture. There's a horse as well. This was my wife, and I actually teaches in a rival school district called Sigourney, another small school, very similar in size. You see some head nods, maybe know where that is, Southeast Iowa as well. She teaches math, so she's the hot, smart one. I just kind of got, I got in by the skin of my teeth. I married up. I mean, that's for sure. The horse said no. So. As far as standards go with this lesson, these are 2 that I pulled out of the Iowa Core. I'm sure there are many more. Financial literacy is something that has definitely become part of 21st century skills. I didn't even go into that section. This was actually under the economic standards. Understand that barter is trading goods and services for other goods and services without using money. And then the essential concept or skill, understand people in all parts of the world trade with one another, and understanding the basic concept of trading. And as I began to teach economics, I actually got stuck. Sorry. There are people here, that's your lifeblood, and I apologize for saying that. I graduated with the U.S. History and Government major. That was my 2. I went and got my all social sciences because, again, small school, you have to teach everything. Economics was housed under the business department. They found that through whatever reason, students weren't able to get social studies credit, and they needed it. So they shifted it over to me. So I shouldn't say stuff because I've really, really honestly enjoyed it. Financial literacy is a passion of mine. My wife teaches math, and she actually teaches financial literacy in her math class as well. So it's definitely something, and I think if there's any one thing you'll ever need, you won't need to know that Abraham Lincoln was the 16th president of the United States most of the time, but you will need to know how to handle money. You just will. In your lifetime, you're just going to need to know, how do you handle money? How do you survive? And I really feel like, at least at our district, I felt like we had dropped the ball on that a little bit for students. So I really kind of designed my economics class to have a big piece of financial literacy, and this played a part in it as well. And we were going over, standard deviation graphs and, currency and all these different things, supply and demand curves, and, kids were just, you could kind of see the eyes rolling back. And I thought, you know, I've got to reshift this into some type of gear. We've got to do something a little bit more hands-on. And I came across the material I was using a little bit about bartering. It's just a blurb. And I thought, you know, I'm going to take this and blow it up. Because my dad did the most annoying things when I was a kid. He would barter for everything. We'd go to McDonald's, and he would order a meal and then say, you think about throwing in a free ice cream cone? I come here quite a bit, you know, and I'm thinking, no, you know, and the lady would throw it in. I mean, it's like, what? You know, and then he would go to Walmart. You can't barter at Walmart. Actually, he did. He got a pair of shoes for like $5 that were $50. He even had real tears when he was crying about some fake story that he made up. It was awkward. But one thing that I learned, and they would take us to flea markets, and that's really where, you know, where bartering starts. And there's an area in Missouri close to us that I mean, it's huge. And we would go down and we would drive an hour and a half, and he didn't even usually come away with stuff. He just loved the haggle, the challenge. And it's not a gift that I have, but it's something I've developed, because I can definitely see, since then I've called Mediacom or Windstream, and I've started to negotiate a little bit too. So US Cellular, these other companies. But I realized kids really didn't understand what that meant. With bartering, we did it at the lunch table, right? Like, oh, I'll trade you your peanut butter sandwich for my cookie, but we didn't call it bartering. We called it lunch. And so to kind of survive, I began to look at some things, and I found these two guys. Maybe you've seen them on A&E. I put their one of their websites. They have several different links, but one of their Video Vault websites on the resource page that I gave you an early link. But these guys are called the Barter Kings. They're out in Southwest United States, and their whole thing is just trading. They start with an item and they trade up to an item. So I showed an episode of this to students, and we had questions, and we did some discussion guides and things like that. And kids were really still interested in it. They said, well, that's really cool, but I don't think that could ever happen. And I thought, okay, let's find somebody where this happened. And so I began to do some research, and some of you will know this more than I did, but I didn't realize it at the time, but I actually came across a guy named Kyle McDonald. And this is kind of his story, and I'm going to play it for you, and then we can talk about it a little bit. Is there a question? No. There's a voice in my head. Okay, sorry.
This young man's been getting a lot of attention this week. He dreamed of owning a home without spending one red cent. And believe it or not, he did it using one red paperclip. Don Daylor takes you step by step on his amazing journey.
I've embarked on an adventure, and that paperclip symbolically holds it together. And it's really easy to remember. One red paperclip.
For Kyle McDonald, it's a simple question. What is one red paperclip worth? The answer is more complex and more inspiring than anyone could ever imagine. At 26, Kyle has blazed a new trail in trading on the internet from his computer in Montreal, Canada. Starting with a single red paperclip, he wondered, was it possible to make enough trades to eventually get a house? His inspiration was a childhood barter game called Bigger and Better.
Wow, it'd be cool, instead of getting the job to buy the house, if I just played Bigger and Better until I actually traded up to a house. And that's when I looked down at my desk and saw one red paperclip and said, I'll start with that.
Putting his job as a salesman on hold, Kyle placed an ad on Craigslist, a website that allows people to trade something they don't want for something they do want. It didn't take long for two young women from Vancouver, Canada to stumble across his listing.
So I was just like, hey, Ronnie, check this out. Like, this guy wants to trade a paperclip. Like, what can we trade him? Like, what do we have?
And as soon as I got the call, I'm like, well, this is going to be fun. I'm going to make some trades. People actually want to do this.
So the first object that you traded for was what?
First thing I traded for was a pen shaped like a fish.
2 days later, Kyle traveled to a convenience store parking lot to trade his one red paperclip. He then swapped the fish-shaped pen to a woman in Seattle, Washington, who gave him a tiny doorknob with a smiley face. The doorknob was traded to a man in Amherst, Massachusetts, for a camping stove. What had started as a game was now taking on a life of its own. So he created his own website, oneredpaperclip.com.
Did you ever get kind of wacky offers?
I probably get about 5 really weird ones a day. People started offering virginity, body parts, the soul. I said, sorry, I don't deal in souls, or I don't deal in body parts.
But legitimate offers also began coming in. He found a Marine sergeant in California who needed the camping stove and traded for a generator.
I went from a generator, which I thought was great, to a keg of beer, which I knew was great. And 2 days later, a local radio DJ named Michel Barrette said, I need to get in on this. I'll offer you my snowmobile.
So Kyle, who is now a celebrity, traded for the snowmobile.
I can't wait to take it for a spin, but I really can't wait to trade it again.
Then he was interviewed on Canadian national television, where he announced he would consider almost any trade, except one.
I will go anywhere in the world except for Yak, British Columbia. So I thought, well, that's safe. No one's ever going to make an offer from there. Anyways, woke up in the morning, the phone rang. Hi, Kyle, my name's Jeff. We want to make you an offer. I'm like, oh, great, cool. And he's like, our offer is we want to bring you to Yak.
So he's here and he's got a snowmobile with you.
So Kyle traded the snowmobile for a weekend in Yak in the Canadian Rockies, population 200.
There's the keys.
Snowmobiles are yours?
He traded that for a small panel truck and then a recording studio contract. Then he met a young singer-songwriter named Jody Gannett, who desperately wanted to record her music.
It's smoking, no joking.
And with this trade, Kyle began to realize something very special was going on, that he was not only bartering for a house, but that he was in the business of granting wishes.
So what did you offer?
I offered 1 year of free rent in a 1-bedroom apartment in lovely downtown Phoenix. So I ended up calling Kyle.
She said, I really want that recording contract. This is my opportunity to get my album done. You know, her personality came through over the phone. I said, done. Double bid.
So Kyle made the trip to meet Jody with a legion of media following his every move as he exchanged the recording studio contract for the keys.
People said, you got your house. You know, you made it to this house. And I was like, well, it is a house, but I only have it for 1 year. I'm going to keep going until I own a house.
And it was at this point that Kyle met a woman named Leslie Krieger, a friend of Jody's, who wanted the 1 year's free rent so she could save some money. Leslie was about to make an offer that would launch One Red Paperclip into a whole new level of exposure.
And she says, what I would like to do is get you to hang out for an afternoon with my boss. I said, who is your boss? And she goes, Alice Cooper.
That's Alice Cooper, shock rock legend. The one little problem, Leslie, who works in his restaurant, hadn't yet asked Alice Cooper if he'd even do it.
I started thinking about it and going, it's genius. And the smart thing is, he doesn't make a trade unless the other guy is getting a great deal.
Without a moment's hesitation, Alice agreed. So Kyle headed back to Phoenix to meet Leslie, who was about to trade half a day with Alice Cooper for the 1-bedroom apartment.
Kyle said that I had to have something to trade because he was giving me the keys, that I had this mess hanging on my wall.
So I actually made the trade wearing an Alice Cooper mask, shaking her hand on the front patio to her house. So there was a bit of symbolic trading going on as well.
When Kyle posted Alice Cooper on his website, offers came pouring in by the thousands. But the next trade would be different from all the others. Kyle was about to make his first calculated decision. He traded half a day with Alice Cooper to a concert photographer from Cincinnati, Ohio, for this. A motorized KISS snow globe. His legion of fans were stunned. How could a snow globe worth maybe $20 get him closer to his house? But Kyle knew that actor Corbin Burnson, best known for his role in the TV show LA Law, was waiting in the wings, because Kyle had found out he had an extensive collection of, you guessed it, snow globes.
I have 6,000 of them.
Yeah, 6,000 snow globes.
And I never heard of the KISS snow globe. And when the snow globe came, I said, gotta have it, gotta have it. I think I said, no, I need this.
So Corbin gave Kyle a speaking role in a movie he's about to direct called Donna on Demand as his next thing to trade.
There is someone out there who wants to be an actor, and I think this is an amazing opportunity.
You are so excited about this, and you're not the guy who's going to be in the movie.
I'm excited about seeing Corbin Burnson's snow globe collection.
What happened when you made the trade with Kyle today?
All day I was excited. And when I saw it, it was, that is a beautiful, beautiful snow dome.
Wow. Christmas morning.
Christmas morning. That's it. Exactly right. God, this is awesome. Look at this.
Once again, there was real magic. Kyle touching the life of another person on his journey to turn a paperclip into a house. And just this week, a year to the day since he began his big adventure, the young man from Montreal made his 14th trade. This house, given to him by the town of Kipling, Saskatchewan, where they will soon hold open auditions for the speaking role in Corbin Burnson's movie. Kyle's dream had finally come true.
What is one red paperclip worth? The paperclip in itself is not worth anything. It's what Kyle's done with the paperclip. And the power of this story is Kyle.
So I showed students that and decided I was going to go beyond showing to moving outside of the classroom. So I didn't have red paper clips that I got from Walmart last night. I actually had to sort these out. Called my wife at home and she was like, "What are you doing? It sounds like it's noisy." I'm like, "I'm sorting some paper clips." So she just kind of, I could hear her roll her eyes through the phone. I don't know if you've ever been in this experience, but so I gave each student a silver paper clip because that's what I had available from the local office supply store known as the secretary's office. And I told them, I said, here's the thing. You guys are going to go out and you're going to do this. You're going to go out and you're going to trade. And there are a couple of things, but I gave it to them on a Friday so they can have some time over the weekend. And I think one of the things I was most excited about doing this was not just about what they could get, which I was really curious, but more about their interactions with people. When I saw this, I thought, I think so many times in our classrooms, everything we do stays inside the classroom. So how do we get people to move beyond the four walls of the classroom and actually get them out and get them talking about social studies, in this case, economics, trading, bartering. And so this, when I thought about this, I thought, man, what a great way to get kids out talking and having conversations. And this isn't something that you can text. This isn't something you can tweet. I mean, you can, once you take the picture, but you've got the challenge. Did anybody not get one? The challenge of this assignment is you've got to physically take this paperclip. You've got to go have a conversation with somebody. Hey, Kyle, would you be willing to trade the rest of your coat for a paperclip? Good, have you rolled probably in. But you've got, but that starts that conversation. And then if you get rejected, all of a sudden now we've got another learning experience, right? How do I overcome what happens when somebody says no? The answer to us is you move forward, right? That's something we talk about. I see it on Twitter all the time. Teach kids how to fail. Teach kids how to fail. But do we? Do we really provide? This is an environment where you could fail. You could walk out. Somebody could say no. Okay, so you hand up, you go again. And the other challenging part of this is for students who really lack those social communication skills. They've got to really come out and come out. So I understand that it's a difficult assignment. It's one that's hard, but there are a lot of rewards socially, learning, but also beyond that into the type of conversations that you can have with people. So their assignment was, I gave them one silver paperclip. They had until Monday, like I said, to trade up. I made it worth 80 points. I still go on a point-based system. Everybody, whatever, however, this could be a 4 if you're doing standard base grading or whatever it is your system is. The reason I made it worth 80 points is the test is about 100. So in my mind, I didn't want it to be like, especially for someone who is socially awkward, I didn't want it to be really tough, as far as going out and doing it to where, if they failed or didn't do it, that it would totally beset them. But I also wanted it to be something they took seriously. If it was worth 10 points, oh, I'll trade you for this 4. Okay, here we go. I'm doing this room. And that was it. I wanted it to be something substantial that they could walk. So that the grading system's up to you. I made a rubric, and I'll show you kind of a part of it. But part of the rules also were that you needed to photo document each trade. When you watch Kyle's story, what's cool about his story is you can actually follow, like you're with him. And then you're going, what is that doorknob? Like, who would trade a doorknob for the gas stove? And so you're kind of working through. And then you realize as you begin to look at it, it's not really about the doorknob or the gas stove. Again, it's about the interaction as well. I allowed them to take whatever device they'd like. We had MacBooks at the time. We've since migrated to Chromebooks. So they had to put in a keynote. I actually had a student made a video. He said, can I make a video? So, yeah, it's awesome. And it turned out pretty awesome. And then it was due on Monday. They had to come in. They also could not trade with the same person more than once. So I wanted to avoid just going out to your best friend who you can trade with, but you can only do that once. All right? And then no money can be exchanged, so you can't kick in a little bit of extra with it. I want it to be a really equal playing field for everybody. And then you had to bring the item with you to class on Monday, which was very interesting. Kids started to roll in their items. Some of them deposited early in the morning, and it was the last period of the day. So again, there were final points. 40 points were based on the amount of your trade with your final item, and then the 40 other points I had a presentation rubric and a trade rubric. One thing I did not do was set a limit to the number of trades, because I feel like sometimes when we do that, we limit creativity a little bit. In the rubric, I talked about, your trading. You need to make successful trades, and but I didn't. I had a lot of people really struggle with that, especially my A students said, "Well, what's the number?" I mean, what do you mean? Well, how many trades do I need to make? I said, that's up to you. When you're finally satisfied with the item that you've received in the end, it's something of significant value to you, and you can stand here and tell me in the face that it's significantly valuable, because again, this sport, I just love this sport. Come on, really? Like, let's be real here. Then whenever you're satisfied, that's when the trade ends. And it was kind of subjective a little bit, but I didn't want to limit somebody who really wanted to go after it. And some people that would come in and we kind of satisfied them, like, are you sure you're really satisfied with that? No. And then they would go out and they would trade again. Actually, after I showed them the video, I had them go out that day and actually make trades. I talked to some of the teachers, and there were some teachers that left in their classroom. They went out to some staff on break and things like that. And, they were actually even making some trades that day and then over the weekend. So what are some of the things that I received? One kid got a functional working laptop that I thought was pretty amazing from Paperclip. Someone brought in a car hood, and I thought, a car hood? Is that like a NASCAR hood? Are you building a car? No, man, I'm gonna go sledding. What? Okay, yeah, I know, I've been down that road too. And he's like, yeah, no, we're gonna put it on forward. So imagine the kid bringing in the car hood as well. So he drugged that in. Like I said, when they had to bring in the final item, that was really interesting. Someone brought in a really cool piece of art, like it was an original. I said, are you sure that person wanted to part with it? No, they were really excited about it. I don't know, it was their uncle or something. I was over visiting, telling about the project, and I traded him my bobblehead that I got from my cousin or something for that, and he really liked the bobblehead, and he wanted his art to be displayed somewhere. He just had it in the store. It's really cool. And so there were lots and lots of examples. One student did attempt to trade his soul for someone else's unborn baby. That was a student that made the video. I was going to show the video, but it's kind of interesting. I didn't put it on here, but because he graduated and I didn't get a chance to ask for permission. But it was pretty elaborate, the video. While he was signing the document to his soul, he had gotten red ink that he had hidden underneath. It looked like he pricked his finger and then wrote in blood. How could you not get that video? I was like, okay, that's lame, but here we go. He made a couple of trades before that, so I don't know. The other girl hasn't had a baby yet, so I don't know. I have update coming on that one. I don't know, how that will work. So there we go with that. So anyway, I guess in conclusion with all of this is it was really a challenge, again, both socially and academically, to move outside the box. And what I loved is it just totally broke the ice off of all the other economic things we were doing. Then when we went back and talked about supply and demand, kids were like, oh, well, that makes sense. Like, that's why that thing was really cool, because where else am I going to get an original piece of art? So good, there you go. Oh, I really needed a car hood. That person wanted, I don't remember what they had at the flashlight or something at the time. So here's my challenge to you. And you don't have to accept this challenge, but I really like it if you will, because I think it's really cool. But completely self-appointed challenge. The next 10 minutes, who can come up with the best trade? I do have a prize. It's pretty phenomenal-ish. It's not a paperclip. You already have one of those. I'm not going to make you take pictures. If you want to, you can. If you want to show this to your class. But at this point, I'm going to conclude. You want to stick around and ask me questions, but if you would like to come back, what time is it now? If you'd like to come back, let's go 11:40. If you'd like to come back 11:40 with your trades, I guarantee the people at the booth would trade for you. There were people around. If you'd like to come back and show me what you had and present it, I would love to see it. I'm really excited. But I'll stick around if you have questions, comments. The resources are there on the page as well. God bless, and happy trading. Good luck. Yeah, it is. Well, and I think, when we talked about this morning, economics and finding good lessons, it's so hard. It's tough. I mean, you can do every file day. That's cool. Like you said, how would you say anything on the fine? Yeah, definitely utility. Yeah, right. And I understand currency, exchange, I get that, but Right.
Satisfaction with that.
Right.
That's the point. Something different for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's cool. So yeah, I was excited about it and it felt like it went really well.